The Galactic Council gathered in their grand chamber, a vast room filled with representatives from many planets. Bright lights glimmered above as discussions buzzed like a swarm of bees. For 3,000 years, peace reigned among the galaxies. No wars, no fighting, just cooperation. But today was different. The council president, a tall alien with shimmering blue skin, stood at the front. He raised his arms to quiet the crowd. "We must address a serious matter," he announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Reports are coming in about human advancements. They are developing technology that could threaten our way of life." Whispers spread across the room like wildfire. Some council members exchanged worried glances, while others looked skeptical. A representative from the planet Zorax stood up, his tentacles waving. "Humans? They are primitive. How could they possibly challenge us?" But another member, a stern-looking alien with deep-set eyes, shook her head. "That is exactly what we thought before. They have surprised us before. We cannot underestimate them." The tension grew as the debate heated up. Some members argued that humans were not a threat and should be left alone. Others insisted that action must be taken. "If we do nothing, we may regret it," a voice from the back called out. It was a younger representative from the planet Xylox, known for its military prowess. "Exactly," shouted a tall, green-skinned alien. "We must act now. If we let them grow stronger, they could become a force we cannot control." Finally, the president spoke again. "A vote must be taken. Shall we declare war on humanity?" A hush fell over the chamber. Members exchanged glances, contemplating the weight of their decision. One by one, they raised their hands, the room vibrating with tension. In the end, the majority voted for war. A loud bell rang, signaling the decision. The news sent shockwaves through the council and beyond. As the representatives left the chamber, chaos erupted. Some members shouted in anger, while others feared the consequences. News of the declaration quickly spread throughout the galaxy, reaching every corner of known space. On Earth, the message was received with disbelief and fear. Back on Earth, news stations buzzed with activity. Anchors reported the shocking announcement, their faces a mix of confusion and alarm. People gathered in homes and public squares, their voices rising in concern. "War with aliens? What does this mean for us?" a young man exclaimed. The global leaders convened an emergency meeting. In a large room filled with tension, they faced one another, unsure of how to respond. "We cannot let them think we are weak," said the President of the United States, slamming his fist on the table. "We must show them that humanity will not back down." A woman in a business suit stood up, her expression fierce. "But we need to know what we're up against. We have to prepare. We can't fight a war without understanding their strengths." "We need to rally our defenses," said a general, leaning forward. "We can't let fear stop us. If they want war, we'll give it to them." As the leaders debated, plans began to take shape. Military forces were put on high alert, and scientists were tasked with studying the alien technology. Across the globe, people began to prepare for the unknown. Schools held emergency meetings, and families stocked up on supplies. In the midst of the chaos, a young scientist named Mia watched the news in her small apartment. She had always been fascinated by space and the idea of alien life. As she listened to the reports, her heart raced. "This is not just a story anymore," she whispered to herself. "It's real." Determined to help, Mia started gathering information about human advancements in technology. She believed that understanding their own capabilities could turn the tide. "If we want to survive, we must act now," she thought. As night fell, the stars twinkled brightly overhead, but on Earth a cloud of uncertainty hung in the air. The Galactic Council's decision had changed everything. Humanity now stood on the brink of war, ready to defend itself against an enemy they barely understood. With courage and determination, the stage was set for what was to come. The Galactic Council had broken 3,000 years of peace, and humanity was ready to rise to the challenge. The news of the Galactic Council's declaration of war spread like wildfire across Earth. Panic gripped many, but for some, it ignited a fierce determination. In cities and towns around the globe, people gathered to discuss what this meant for their future. Fear and anger filled the air, but so did a sense of unity. In a large conference room in Washington, D.C. leaders from various nations came together. The atmosphere was heavy with anxiety as they faced one another, each representing millions. The president stood at the front, her expression serious. "We cannot let this declaration of war divide us. We must stand together as one planet. she urged. A man in a military uniform stepped forward. We need a strong defense. Our military must be prepared for anything. We have to train our forces and gather our best technology. He paused, looking around at the concerned faces. We can't show weakness. In another part of the world, a young scientist named Mia was determined to help. She had been following the news closely and was filled with ideas. If we want to defend ourselves, we need to understand what we're up against, she thought. Mia reached out to fellow scientists and engineers, organizing a meeting to share knowledge and brainstorm strategies. Meanwhile, in Europe, crowds gathered in city squares, waving flags and chanting slogans. United we stand! They cried, their voices echoing through the streets. People from all walks of life came together, leaving their differences behind. It was a powerful moment, a reminder that humanity could unite against a common threat. In the days that followed, social media exploded with messages of support. Hashtags like Inner Humans Unite and The Mirror Stand Together trended worldwide. People shared stories of courage and resilience, creating a sense of community that spread far beyond borders. Artists created powerful images depicting unity, while musicians wrote songs that inspired hope. Back in the conference room, the leaders discussed plans for a global defense strategy. We need to combine our resources, the president insisted. No country can fight this alone. We must share our technology, our intelligence, and our courage. As meetings continued, they decided to form a coalition of nations dedicated to protecting Earth. They called it the Earth Defense Alliance, EDA. Representatives from each nation pledged to support one another, pooling their military resources and technological advancements. It was a bold step, one that showed the world that humanity would not back down. Mia and her group of scientists began working tirelessly, studying human technology and brainstorming ways to improve it. They reached out to experts in robotics, aerospace, and weaponry. Their goal was to create innovative tools that could help defend against the alien forces. One evening, Mia gathered her team in a small lab filled with equipment. We have to think outside the box, she encouraged them. What if we develop new shields to protect our ships? Or advanced communication systems to coordinate our defenses? Her passion inspired everyone in the room, igniting a spark of creativity. As they brainstormed, ideas flowed freely. They sketched out designs for new technologies and discussed how to improve existing systems. The atmosphere was electric with excitement as everyone felt the weight of their mission. They were not just scientists, they were protectors of their planet. Meanwhile, training camps sprang up around the world. Citizens volunteered to join the military, eager to contribute to the fight. Young men and women lined up to enlist, their faces set with determination. "We will defend our home!" they shouted during training drills, their voices ringing out in unison. On the front lines, the military worked to improve their strategies. They studied past battles and learned from their mistakes. Officers held meetings, analyzing every piece of information they could find about the Galactic Council and its forces. They knew that knowledge was power. As the weeks passed, the unity among humans grew stronger. People felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that they were part of something greater. The world may have faced an enormous threat, but together they were ready to fight back. The Galactic Council may have declared war, but humanity would not be easily defeated. They were preparing to rise up, united and determined to defend their planet. The spirit of collaboration and resilience shone brightly, illuminating the path ahead. The day had finally arrived. After weeks of preparation, the first battle between humanity and the Galactic Council was about to unfold. In the vastness of space, the Council's ships loomed like dark shadows, ready to invade Earth's territory. The tension was palpable on both sides. On Earth, the leaders of the Earth Defense Alliance, EDA, gathered in a command center filled with screens and maps. The president stood at the front, her eyes scanning the information displayed. "We know they are coming. Our forces are ready, but we must stay alert. Communication is key," she said firmly. In space, the alien ships were sleek and powerful, designed for speed and destruction. They moved through the stars, their engines glowing with energy. Commanders aboard the ships were confident, believing they would crush the human forces easily. "Prepare to engage," one commander ordered, a cruel smile on his face. He looked forward to proving his superiority over the so-called primitive humans. Meanwhile, Earth's defense forces were in position, waiting with bated breath. The pilots of human fighter jets were filled with a mix of fear and determination. Mia, now part of the scientific team, worked frantically in the command center, coordinating information with the military. "We need to keep track of their movements," she urged. "We must share what we know." As the alien ships crossed into human space, alarms blared in the command center. "They're here!" shouted a technician, his fingers flying over the controls. The president took a deep breath. "All forces engage. Show them we are not afraid." Fighter jets soared into the sky, their engines roaring as they took off. The pilots gripped their controls tightly, hearts racing. Among them was a young pilot named Jake. He felt a surge of adrenaline as he joined his squadron, ready to defend his planet. "We can do this!" he shouted over the radio, trying to rally his fellow pilots. The first skirmish began. Human jets flew in formation, their weapons primed. The alien ships approached, their sleek forms gliding through the stars. As the two sides met, explosions lit up the darkness of space. Laser beams shot through the void, striking targets with fierce intensity. The aliens were surprised by the humans' determination. They had expected an easy victory, but found themselves facing skilled pilots and advanced technology. "They are stronger than we thought," one alien commander exclaimed, his eyes wide with disbelief. In the heat of battle, Jake maneuvered his jet with precision. He dodged enemy fire and returned fire with calculated aim. "Stay together, team!" he yelled, encouraging his squadron. His heart raced as he spotted an alien ship targeting one of his friends. Without thinking, he swooped in and fired, taking down the enemy craft just in time. "Nice shot, Jake," came the reply over the radio, and he felt a rush of pride. Meanwhile, on the ground, soldiers prepared for the possibility of an invasion. They set up defenses and reinforced their positions. Tanks rolled into place, and armed personnel readied their weapons, determined to protect their homeland at all costs. As the battle raged on, humans showed remarkable bravery. They fought not just for themselves, but for their families, friends, and the future of their planet. Each victory inspired more resolve, proving that humanity was not as weak as the Council had believed. Back in the command center, Mia monitored the battle closely, relaying critical information to the military leaders. "They are regrouping," she reported. "We need to cut off their escape routes." The leaders acted quickly, directing forces to outmaneuver the alien ships. As the battle continued, the tide began to turn. The humans, fueled by their fighting spirit, started to gain the upper hand. One by one, alien ships were shot down, each explosion echoing in the hearts of the human pilots. Cheers erupted in the command center as reports of victories flooded in. But the Council was not ready to give up. They sent in reinforcements, and soon more alien ships entered the fray. The battle intensified, and the humans realized they were not yet safe. They had made progress, but the war was far from over. As the sun began to set on Earth, the skies were filled with smoke and the sounds of battle. The first confrontation had shown both sides that they were in for a long fight. Humanity had stood tall against the Galactic Council, proving their courage and resilience. But they knew they had to be prepared for what was to come next. The struggle for survival had only just begun. The battles between humanity and the Galactic Council raged on, but with each confrontation, humans grew stronger and more determined. They had learned from their early encounters, adapting their strategies and improving their technology. The tide of war was beginning to shift. In the command center, the atmosphere was charged with energy. Mia and her team worked around the clock, analyzing data from the battles and developing new tactics. "We can't just play defense," Mia said, her eyes bright with determination. "We need to take the fight to them," the president agreed. "We must show the Galactic Council that humanity is not to be underestimated. It's time to strike back." With that decision, a bold plan was born. They decided to launch a counteroffensive, targeting the Council's supply ships and communication lines. The goal was to disrupt their operations and weaken their resolve. "If we cut off their resources, we can turn the tide in our favor," a military strategist explained, drawing maps on a large screen. As the plan took shape, soldiers trained harder than ever. They practiced maneuvers and honed their skills, driven by a sense of purpose. In the skies above Earth, fighter jets zoomed through the air, pilots focusing on precision and teamwork. Jake, the young pilot, felt a surge of confidence. "We can do this," he said to his squadron as they prepared for the mission. His fellow pilots nodded, their faces set with determination. They were ready to prove their strength. The day of the counteroffensive arrived. Early in the morning, human ships launched into space, leaving Earth's atmosphere behind. Mia sat in the command center, monitoring every move. "Stay in formation and watch each other's backs," she instructed the pilots over the radio. As they approached the first target, an alien supply ship, the tension was palpable. The crew held their breath, knowing that success was crucial. "On my mark," Jake said, his heart racing. 3, 2, 1, attack! The human fighters swooped down, unleashing a barrage of laser fire on the supply ship. The aliens were caught off guard, struggling to respond. Explosions erupted as the human forces coordinated their attacks with precision. Cheers erupted in the command center as the first supply ship was destroyed. But the Council was quick to react. Reinforcements rushed to protect their supply lines, and soon a fierce battle erupted. The sky filled with streaks of light as the two sides clashed. The humans fought valiantly, determined to hold their ground. As the fighting intensified, Jake spotted an alien ship targeting one of his fellow pilots. Without hesitation, he dove in, firing his weapons and saving his teammate just in time. "Thanks, Jake. Let's keep pushing forward," came the response over the radio. Meanwhile, on the ground, soldiers executed their part of the plan. They launched strikes on communication towers, disrupting the Council's ability to coordinate. With each successful attack, they felt a sense of victory. "We're making a difference," one soldier shouted, his voice filled with excitement. Back in the command center, Mia worked tirelessly, relaying information to the field. "We have to keep the pressure on," she urged. "They're starting to falter." Her heart raced as she watched the reports of successes come in. With every supply ship destroyed and communication tower knocked out, the Council's forces grew weaker. The morale of the aliens began to dip as they realized they were not invincible. Rumors spread among them that humans were fighting back fiercely, and fear crept into the hearts of the Council members. As the day turned to night, the humans pushed on, refusing to back down. They launched one final attack on a major supply base. The stakes were high, and they knew this could be a turning point in the war. With fierce determination, they engaged the alien forces, fighting with everything they had. Explosions lit up the sky as human ships clashed with the alien fleet. The pilots soared through the chaos, working together to take down enemy ships. In the command center, Mia and the leaders watched intently. "This is it," the president said, her voice steady with confidence. "We can win this!" After an intense struggle, the humans emerged victorious. The supply base fell, and cheers erupted in the command center. They had struck back with strength and courage, proving to the Galactic Council that humanity would not be defeated. As the night sky sparkled with stars, a sense of hope filled the hearts of the people on Earth. They had shown their resilience and determination, igniting a fire of unity that would carry them forward. The Galactic Council had underestimated humanity, but now they knew the fight was far from over. The echoes of battle had faded, but the spirit of humanity burned bright. After weeks of intense fighting, the Earth Defense Alliance, EDA, had achieved a remarkable victory against the Galactic Council. The news spread across the globe like wildfire. Humanity had struck back, and they were not to be underestimated. In the command center, the atmosphere was electric. Leaders gathered to discuss the next steps. The president stood at the forefront, her expression a mix of pride and determination. "We have shown the world what we are capable of," she declared. "But this is just the beginning. We must build on our success and ensure our future is secure." Mia, now a vital part of the EDA's strategy team, felt a surge of hope. "We need to solidify our defenses and continue improving our technology. We can't let our guard down," she said passionately. The room erupted in agreement. Everyone understood that the Council would not back down easily. The first order of business was to strengthen Earth's defenses. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, developing new technologies and enhancing existing systems. They designed advanced shields to protect against alien weapons and improved communication systems for better coordination among forces. Meanwhile, the military began recruiting and training more personnel. Citizens from all over the world stepped forward, eager to join the fight and protect their home. Jake, the young pilot, found himself mentoring new recruits, sharing his experiences and skills. "We're all in this together," he reminded them. "Every one of us matters." As days turned into weeks, a sense of unity grew among the people. Nations collaborated more than ever before, sharing resources and knowledge. Cultural exchanges blossomed, and people began to appreciate the diversity of their world. They understood that their strength lay not just in technology, but in their willingness to work together. Mia organized international summits where scientists and military leaders from different countries could share their findings. "We must learn from each other," she said during one of the meetings. "Our future depends on collaboration." Her enthusiasm inspired everyone present, and they began to see themselves as part of a global community. On a sunny day, Earth held a massive celebration to honor the bravery of its defenders. Streets were filled with people waving flags and cheering for their heroes. The president addressed the crowd, her voice filled with pride. "Today we celebrate not just our victory, but our unity. Together we have shown that we will not be defeated." As the crowd erupted in cheers, a feeling of hope enveloped the planet. Children waved handmade banners, and families gathered to share in the moment. The unity forged in the fires of battle had created a new spirit among humanity. But the council was not silent. Reports came in that they were regrouping and planning their next move. In a hidden command ship, alien leaders were furious at their losses. "We cannot allow these humans to think they have won," one commander growled. "We will strike again, and this time we will not fail." Back on Earth, the EDA prepared for the inevitable next wave. "We need to be ready for anything," the president reminded her team. "We must anticipate their moves and act swiftly." Plans were laid out, and simulations were run to prepare for the future. Mia continued to push the boundaries of innovation. She and her team developed new weapon systems designed to counter the Council's technology. Late into the night, they brainstormed ideas, fueled by coffee and determination. "We can't let our guard down," she insisted. "We must stay one step ahead." As humanity stood on the brink of a new beginning, they understood that they had forged something far greater than mere survival. They had created a bond that transcended borders, a shared identity as Earthlings. The battles had taught them the value of unity, strength, and resilience. The Galactic Council may have declared war, but humanity had proven they were not easy prey. With each challenge, they grew stronger, more united, and more determined to protect their home. As they looked to the future, they knew they were ready for whatever came next. Together, they would face the darkness, fighting not just for themselves, but for generations to come. The story of humanity was only just beginning, and they were prepared to write the next chapter with courage, hope, and unwavering resolve.